On today's episode of Watch JR Go, I sold my Fiat 500, and it's got a big problem.
It's dirty.
What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and like I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but I sold my 2015 Fiat 500 to Gabe because they needed another car, and honestly, it's one of the lowest mileage cars I own. It has like 65,000 miles on it, and it was a great car to drive. It's got all the modern, I say all, but it has most of the modern convenience that you need. An automatic transmission that works well, a infotainment system that has aux-in and USB-in and a spare USB charger, and honestly, it holds just about everything you need, especially for a 16-year-old kid that's about to start driving. Now, the issue with the Fiat 500 is we had our bouncy GPS tracking in this as well. And when we hooked the bouncy up, it created a huge problem that put the car into limp mode when you were driving it. Now, when I bought the car, it worked perfectly and never had an issue. And then we threw the GPS tracking on it, and all of a sudden it had a major issue. It would just like lock the throttle into like a 20% mode, total limp mode while you were going down the road. So the troubleshooting process is very simple. You just made a change to the project or item, whatever it is, undo that change and see if the problem goes away. Well, I didn't need to undo that change. I knew that the aftermarket remote start on this car had an integration module. And that integration module is right here. It's the iDataLink ALCA, and this is what the remote start uses for a tach sense. Modern cars don't have a distributor, so there's no easy way to get a tach signal anymore. So what you have to do is read it from the canbus or the OBD2, like the generic OBD codes. So you can get in there and get the actual data from the engine, figure out what the engine's doing, if it's running, if it's successfully started or not, and then you can use this module to report back to the remote start module that the engine's actually running. Without this, the remote start doesn't work right at all. Actually, I think I can demonstrate what it does here. It's an Avital two-way. It's very nice that it's a two-way, but I can hit lock. Maybe. You have to hold for start. Okay, let's hit lock on the Fiat remote. That works. Start. There we go. And that's what it does. It sits there, and I think it'll repeat. It should try again.
Is it because the doors are open?
No. It's because it can't sense that the engine's starting or sense that it's cranking. So let's see if I can cancel that. Hopefully, like unlock twice or something should cancel that. It's not working right now because that integration module is not in the car. Obviously, we still have the GPS tracking on it. Since Gabe bought it, I don't need GPS tracking, so we get to cut that out today and reinstall the remote start system properly so it actually works. And luckily, like, this wasn't a factory remote start car, so I just took it off, and you know, the Turo renters didn't need to have remote start that badly. I needed to track the car a lot more than it needed aftermarket remote start. So how's your Fiat been? You had this thing for like a month now almost.
No. I clean.
I clean. No lemon pledge.
No lemon pledge.
Okay.
Windex.
So what we need to do is the bouncy in this one is like hiding, and I think this just pops off. There it goes. Look at that. There's where the iDataLink module goes, and if we plug it back in, it'll just break the car. So we're gonna have to get in here and get the GPS out from under here. It's all hidden up underneath there with an OBD2 splitter, the way all the others are, and after that, we can hook that thing back up and we should have remote start again. People are like, what do you mean you can't take it out? It's just zip ties.
Right.
What are you talking about? When's the last time you had wire cutters in the car with you when you rented a car and then got under the dash with a flashlight and spent 20 minutes cutting it out? Oh, that's right. Never in the history of ever has that happened. So it's impenetrable.
I
can't. Even if you're like checking, plus with the OBD2 splitter, like you can't find it easily. It feels like factory wiring. Undefeatable, unless you were a crazy person. That's like, I don't know why people were debating that in the comments. Like, oh, you could just cut it out. Yeah, you could, but like, you won't know. So you can't. Oh yeah, speaking of our how impenetrable it is, you can't even fly with wire cutters. They're longer than 6 inches. And TSA takes tools longer than 6 inches. Ask me how I know. They keep taking my tools. Take the bits out of your screwdriver and it'll pass. All right. Yep, there's probably the guy just right outside of the rental car agency, and he's just under here like this, cutting things out of the rental car.
I mean, that's what I do.
Not afraid of what the rental car company's gonna do to him for tampering with their vehicle. just doesn't make any sense that anybody would ever debate that.
I mean, I usually drive to like the 7-Eleven or something first.
Yeah, well, it makes so much more sense when you're just completely hidden out of view from the public like that.
Absolutely. And in California, it doesn't even matter anymore.
You can steal whatever in California.
They'll come and help.
Absolutely. Just yoinking things in Cali. Alright, I think, was that zip tied onto? Usually it is.
There she is.
Alright, well you're getting an upside down OBD2 port. I hope you're cool with that.
I suppose.
Our hidden bouncy system is removed. And now we can hook this thing back up, which is color coded. So pretty simple to do here.
It's too bad I'm colorblind.
I can't see what's going on at all. Alright, so this side goes like so. Maybe. There's so many wires hooked up to this module, it's kind of hilarious. Like, how many data lines do you need?
All of them.
To tell the remote start. Yep, it's cool.
I seriously love that electric
Power steering?
power steering. It's just,
So nice.
I've got to figure out a way to get that in the Opal.
They sell them as kits. Well, there's a kit in the 33 Ford over there. Bolt-in kit.
Nice.
I forgot what it's called. All right, let's try it. Let's see if this works. Cycle the key, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's remote start. See, I'm still standing here.
I started it
and
with the
he's
remote.
over there.
Yeah. As you can see, I used the remote to start. Okay. Locked. Start. What? It's fixed. All back together. Anyway, those little integration modules work really well. They let you maintain factory CAN bus communication and buzzers and all kinds of stuff like that with your head units. They also let you fix your remote start. With cars that have newer electrical systems and a CAN bus, you know, 15 CAN buses in half of these new cars. But anyway, there you go, Gabe. Now you got remote start in your car.
That's cool.
You're back on the road, and this is another remote, another key and remote for you.
Hold on, wait a second, wait a second.
And did I give you?
I have
cool.
one.
Cool.
I have
You've
one,
got
so-
the
So,
thing.
look, is this like we touched rings or something and ha, 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 ha.
Anyway, you already have your other remote. I didn't know where that was. So,
Well, I have the car for like a month. So
I know, you've had it forever.
that's where the remote is.
So, I'm going to put this back, and then we're going to fix your windshield, because somehow it has two massive chips in it. So we get to fix that, and then you should be back on the road for real.
Sweet.
Ready to take this thing.
You admired my cleaning job?
I did. It's very crispy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So what we have here is a fingernail width little chip in the windshield, and here we have a little over a 1/4 inch, I mean almost a half across, I don't know, little bullseye. And today,
It's
I think
That one's deep.
I know, I wanted to get all the extra glass out of there. We're gonna try to do a resin repair on these, and hopefully get this factory windshield back on the road and ready to go. A lot of glass came out as I did that.
Yeah, I saw the little speckles.
So they
You can
say,
see the light glittering off.
yeah,
there.
they say to just use something like that to dig it out. I don't want to dig too much of it out.
Is that? I was going to ask if that's a technical tool.
That is the technical tool. So Gabe found a couple of my favorite kits on sale. Apparently these are like a nationwide shortage because the places that sell them are always out. Also, here's your money for those.
Woohoo!
So if you don't use it for this, it's at least gas money to get you home. Best car deal ever. All right, so here is our setup. We've got the spider. We're gonna go ahead and start with the easy one. We've got the spider all set up. We're gonna go ahead and back out the resin injector and install it in here. Let's make sure it's gonna land where we need. I think it's really close. Oh, dead on the money.
Nice.
Dead on the money. 3 to 6 drops of resin right into the chamber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got some good fill there. Then we can screw in the injector. It's like a fuel injector. Only different.
Would it be direct injection?
It is direct injection. Directly into the chamber. Oh, dude, this is such the best kit in the world. Every other kit just does not work. This one, I immediately saw it just and fill the crack.
Yeah.
Every time. How? How do you get it so right, Rain-X? And the other two kits are the worst ever. I cannot say enough bad things about those. Buy this one, it works. The others don't work. Now we just have to let it sit for 4 to 6 minutes, so I'll set a timer. It's been a few minutes. I also did the unscrew, let the air bubbles come out of it, and then re-inject it one more time after our 5 minutes was up. So now what I'm doing is backing this thing out. I'm not gonna back it all the way out because maybe if you do that, it kind of breaks the vacuum seal and leaks all the resin out that's in there. So there we go. All right, we're gonna try to just yank this thing off and go to the next one. We'll put this right here. That's where that goes now.
That one could use a couple of...
That one needs a whole windshield. So. All right. And we're on to the second one. Actually, if you shoot that inside, you might be able to see this thing fill.
That would be cool.
You might be able to see it fill. Oh, it can't push enough in. You can see the crack disappeared to become like this. That's about as gone as that's gonna get.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, a lot better than it was.
Almost non-existent.
Sorry I spilled resin everywhere. I gotta clean all my mess up here.
And I tell you what, that is like super clean.
Way better.
Yeah.
So the big one, the worst crack, is actually the best looking one. Now we've got that filled completely. The other one, it definitely filled, but it didn't take enough of it into the crack like I was hoping. Oh well, at least it won't spread anymore because it's been resin fixed. And you've got your remote start back, and you've got 2 keys. So I think you're well on your Fiat way, except for the headlight bulb that just burned out.
It's always something.
Anyway, dude, enjoy your Fiat.
Thanks, man.
Good times.
Appreciate it.
We had to get this finally completely sorted out.
Yes.
And then, yeah,
And now we just have to get
that's it.
that one sorted out.
Exactly. On to that one. I guess we were going to talk about this one.
Yeah.
So, but really, it's just kind of at a standstill while you decide whether, I mean, we've decided that we want to tear the engine on down to see if there was any other damage, just kind of double check everything. So no matter what, we're going to pull the engine out of the sky.
Yep.
And
Engine's coming out.
you're trying to decide if you should just buy another engine that already has another like genuine turbo on it, or just have that one rebuilt and buy a genuine turbo.
I still like the power from the other ones.
Yeah,
But
I get it.
Yeah, it comes down to...
Until you lose another engine.
Well, cost effective. I mean,
Yep.
we got to figure out what's going to be
Exactly.
the best for our time, the best for our money, and yeah,
So I guess hopefully this week we go ahead and pull the engine out of the sky,
probably.
and then we'll get it all back together one of these days. Because I'm going back to work on the Corvette. My parts are finally here. Well, Monday.
Which Corvette? You've got 7 in here.
Correct. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjargo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time.
Actually, you know, an all-black Watch Jericho shirt would probably be dope.
Stealth? Full stealth?
Dude, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Well, I have...
you know, like when you go to
I
the bowling
have-
alley
I've got-
and it all the black lights like
Right.
reveal, you do it like that.
So I do have heathered gray with black, which is almost full stealth. But full stealth would be even better.
It would be cool.
Just like the movie Stealth. Now on Netflix. I don't know.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
I think it's actually... I'm pretty sure Stealth's actually on Hulu. But that was like the best movie back in the day. Remember when he's bored, he downloads MP3s off the internet.
Right, yeah.
Which ones?
Because that's what you do.
All of them.
All of them.